Welcome to the You Can Be Unstoppable podcast. My name is Evelina, your host and certified hypnotherapist. In this podcast, I will share with you how to tap into the power of your subconscious mind. I intend to share with you how learning how to use the power of your subconscious mind can help you to create a successful and abundant life with ease, how to connect with yourself while fostering a healthy relationship with your body and mind. Tapping into the power of the subconscious mind will help you to learn how to manage your emotions, become more resilient and present in all of your relationships. Self-love and self-worth are the keys to the kingdom of success and abundance, to happy and healthy life on your terms. Last week, I had this amazing opportunity and privilege talking to Veronika Safoa Owusu. And she's an absolute gem. She's an impact course creation strategist, educationalist, board member of educational communities worldwide, impact coach, top 50 most impactful people on LinkedIn, dancing addict, and inspirational speaker. Veronika helps entrepreneurs creating a transformational online courses with a master framework. We had the most amazing conversation. We covered a number of topics, and among other things, we talked about how transformational entrepreneurial journey can be, how important is to identify who we are at the core level, and as a matter of fact, the importance of self-love and self-esteem, how we as humans create our reality through our thoughts and choices. We also talked about the importance of shedding the programming, the domestication that we all received over the years, a programming that created layers and layers of programming that we need to shed in order to find out who we really are, because it dims our light. And there was so much more that we covered. So if you want to find out, keep listening, because this conversation was on fire. Perfect. So thank you, Veronika, for agreeing and coming onto my show and talking to me.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Awesome. And I wanted to structure our conversation around self-love, acceptance, something that I think we kind of skip over a little bit too quickly in our entrepreneurial journey. But I think as an incredible part that feeds into our success.
Yes.
And I know that's something that you talk about in your business as well. And I wanted to kind of take it back into beginning a little bit. And I know that you officially on LinkedIn started in 2017.
Yes.
And can you tell me what motivated you to start on that journey?
So if you know my story, you know that I come from the educational background. So I used to be a teacher back in the day. So I've been a teacher. I had been a teacher for over 15 years. And this is back in Poland. I did my master's in educational sciences and I taught, I created programs. I just loved what I did. But during that period of time, Evelina, I lost my way.
Okay.
We ventured into this entrepreneurial world, young, married couple, let's set up a business. Yeah, let's make money. Let's do
As
this.
you do.
Yeah. Well, with that just intention. Okay, so we set up this business. Yeah, things were going great. And I realized that I'd lost myself. I really wasn't living according to my standards, according to what I wanted. I was kind of passively living through life. And it was only when, after a few years, and it was a success. We were doing well. We made the income. We really had a great period of time in the business. But after a period of time, things started spiraling down. And when I found myself in front of this pawnbroker's shop, back then, this is like 10 years ago, selling my precious belongings, like we had gone bankrupt, nothing to my name. So it kind of became clear to me, like, Veronika, who are you really? Like, you're not this business owner. You've lost it. You're not that. By that time, I'd almost lost the status of a wife. My marriage was on the rocks by then. You're losing all these things. So who are you? And it embarked me on this journey of self-discovery. And I remember stumbling upon audiobooks by Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. And it opened my mind to the belief system, to the paradigms, how our minds are really wired. And I realized that, wow, I had created that reality, that hell, that rut, that moment in the pawnbroker shop. That was my creation. And I was like, whoa, really? Then who am I? And it embarked on this journey. And I realized, and I learned after reading and really immersing myself into the self-growth, that I'm pure, intelligent energy, right? That's really it. It is what it is. I'm pure vibrational energy when you look at it even on a cellular level.
Yes.
And we know that energy is creative.
And that's so powerful what you're saying, because I think that's what a lot of people don't feel comfortable maybe looking into, that we are energy on a cellular level, as you say, and we are the creators of our reality. All of it that we created in our lives, we have chosen at some level, whether there were choices that we made consciously or unconsciously.
Most of them are unconscious. That's a scary bit.
Yeah. And that's the thing, most of them is unconscious and automatic, because it's the way we are, it's our way of being that we've created over the years. And we so unaware of that. But you can really look at your life and it will tell you exactly who you are, because the life you've created is the reflection of you. Yes.
So being this vibrational being, the reality is what we create through our thoughts, through our choices, and all those things. So I was like, okay, what do I want to create then in my life? And that kind of realigned me to the truth of who I was. So fast forward, over the years, I was sowing seeds. 10 years ago, I didn't even know it was called, rewiring or reprogramming of the mind. We're just doing what we were doing, right? But that was what I was doing, rewiring, reprogramming, planting new seeds. And eventually they started to reap as coaching found me. Coaching, I always say coaching found me, because by some divine force, I stumbled upon this feed and I was like, whoa, that's my language. Unlock potential, the mind, subconscious, like, whoa, I want to see this. So I signed up to the workshop and I was like, whoa, this is it. And I was like, I'm going to become a coach. I'm going to become a coach. I'm going to help other people unlock the potential and find themselves, because I had lost myself and that was my journey. So I was like, yes, there's a way of packaging it. Oh yeah, let's do it. But I was broke then. I had no money to invest in that program. But luckily, I had to use my last dime to pay for the installments. And I'm like, this is my ticket to freedom, and really realigning, finding myself, my purpose, my mission, because I'd totally lost my way. And so I fast forward, here I am. And I became that mindset coach originally, the personal development coach originally. But then that's a whole different story, because you're a coach. So what next? Like, okay, who am I really serving? Where are the clients again? Like, how am I supposed to market myself? So that's a whole different journey as a coach. Yeah, and
it's amazing what you said, because I can see this with my clients and through various programs that I've done as well, working on myself. As humans, we tend to wait till we hit the rock bottom before we say, okay, wait a minute. Like, I need to look at myself and at my life and change something, but because I had enough of being sick and tired. Because we can be sick, as my coach says, you can be sick and tired, but when is going to come the time when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired?
It reminds me of the story of a grandfather and his grandson sitting on the porch, and there's this dog lying down on next to them, and the dog keeps on moaning. Yeah, and the grandson asks the granddad, well, why is the dog moaning? It's like, well, it's sitting on a nail. It's like, why doesn't the dog just stand up? Well, it's not hurting the dog enough for it to stand up. Yeah. Like you just said beautifully, the threshold to that pain, how much we can contain that pain and frustration depends, and in all different shades depending on the individual. So yeah, I've heard that story before, and it's actually beautifully explaining how most of us live. And that was my story too. I had to hit the rock bottom before I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and decided to do something about that. But back when you started, and kind of tying that back into our topic for today, what was the biggest thing that holds you back? And now in retrospect, you can say, I wish I knew about this earlier. I wish I've learned about this earlier, because it would sped up my journey, or would have made it so much easier for me. Yeah. Not knowing who I was, I would say that that answer is just comes to me so easily, and so it's so obvious. I didn't know who I was because of the layers and layers and layers and layers of years of programming. Like, you are layered by not only your experiences, but also inherited beliefs from every single body that has cared for you or you have encountered in your life. Can you imagine the number of layers that our true self is buried under?
Oh, I know that very well.
So you can, so you can, you were saying you also can relate in your stories. You can imagine how we have to dig and peel and to really get to the core. So finding my true self really was the beginning of my success. Because when you ask yourself this question, who are you when you've lost everything that you have ever identified yourself with? I always share this question. Whoever I talk, like, this is a question that changed my life. Who are you when you have lost everything that you have ever identified yourself with? You're like naked, you're like bare, like, then you're like, oh. So understanding that, and understanding I'm this creative being, and I can create, and I can evolve, and I can create things from nothing, kind of. When I say the substance of nothingness is actually a substance, that's a whole different topic. We'll not go that deep, but from nothingness, from that substance of nothingness, that is amazing. So knowing that, I'm like, I'm going to create. And you see me, of course, online, and I'm very expressive and very creative in how I show up, because I'm always I feel, as I speak, I'm very passionate about it, because I love creating what my soul desires at that moment in time, So you can see the very diverse approach I have when I show up, because I have that soul. I'm not just one way or one style. I'm many, and it doesn't apply to everybody. We're all different, but that's just me.
Yeah, but that is a beautiful question that you said, because all of us has got beliefs that do not belong to us. We just pick them along the way from people who cared for us, like you said, from school, from parents. I call this domestication. We all been domesticated to a certain level.
Love it.
Because we are being born perfect, beautiful, without any issues, so to speak, with any prejudices. We have no beliefs. We know that we are worthy enough and lovable. Show me a baby that is thinking at 3 a.m, I'm not going to cry and wake up mommy. They're like, I need attention, and I am going to cry. Because I'm worthy of that attention. But we pick up those beliefs along the way. And like you said, it's a beautiful question, because if we stripped all of this and become naked, so to speak, who am I without the struggle? Who am I without those beliefs that I've created about myself, all those coping mechanisms that I created that are protecting me from feeling hurt or exposed or seen, but at the same time, they also hurt us from being who we are. Because you need to be able to step out of that. And that is one of the things that I find people are afraid doing, because they're afraid of that question. Who am I if I leave the struggle behind? Who am I if I'm not being defined by the victimhood I've found myself in? Because I can put my hand up. I've played a victim more than I would like to admit. But I didn't see it. I was like, it's not me. It's the life. It's the environment. It's the government. It's my mum. It's my brothers, or whatever I decided to blame on. And I let my power leak to other people, to other circumstances, because I was not standing in my power. Because like I said, I wasn't comfortable looking at who I really am. Although that created that what was the word I'm looking for, that tug of war inside of me. Right. Because on the one hand I was like, I really want to be me and find me and be me, but on the other hand it's like, well, the ego is like, but you need all those mechanisms that are protecting you. You need to hide to keep yourself safe. But the tug of war was so uncomfortable for me that, like we were talking about this earlier, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes. Yeah. And, one very quick way of identifying really your truth is by, first of all, identifying what you are not. Because it's very easy, all the layers of the beliefs.
Process of elimination,
Yeah. Yes. So filter. I'm not this. Is this belief mine originally? Okay. Is this what I want to continue to believe? Like, you get to choose what you're not. So what is left is what you are. And you can create from that essence of your values, right? What you stand for, right? What you want to experience in life, right? And then move towards that direction in a creative way and create a path that will unveil the steps forward and will allow you to experience the fulfillment along the journey. Because it is a journey, really. I mean, there's no one destination. So, and like you said in the very beginning, before we even hopped on the live, is it all boils down to self-love.
Yeah.
As simple as it may sound, to be able to peel the layers, have the courage to take the time to discover, explore, identify, it requires a sense of self-love to want to even go there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it and it's funny because growing my business online has been solely because I've been myself. I say, if you want to grow, you need to be yourself, because that's what's going to attract your dream clients. That's what's going to attract your tribe. And that's what's going to keep you on track, not allow you to burn out, that easily, and keep you focused on what's most important. It's difficult not being yourself.
It's exhausting. I would say it's exhausting, if you're trying to pretend and do something that you are not. And I suppose that is really hard these days, because there is so many influencers online these days telling you should be this way or that way. You're supposed to talk to customers this way or that way. There's all those people trying to persuade you that the only way, my way to build your business is this way. But actually, I would say the way to build your business is to be you. Uniquely you, because this is what is going to differentiate you from everyone else, because there is no one else as Veronika out there. There is no one else as me, Evelina. They might be doing what I'm doing and they might be doing what you do, but they won't be me. They will not experience the same things I did or you did. We might have a similar stories, but everyone puts a different meaning and interpretation on all the experiences that we went through.
Absolutely,
and that will create a different personality.
That's it, right? We're only the observer, the experiencer, and how we experience an event is what makes it different. The insights, So,
but that is powerful, because when I work with my clients, I can see this very often, that the issue that coming to see me is only a presenting symptom. It's not usually the issue, is the coping mechanism that they've devised in order to deal with life that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
But that usually stems back to something that happened to them in the past, and they created certain interpretations. Mine created certain connections, and is going to be different from person to person.
Yeah.
One person experienced something and that experience actually gave them strength and made them a much better person, but someone else would experience exactly the same thing and they would collapse under that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
they will create beliefs that are very unhelpful and diminishing to their power. They would think they are not worthy or not enough.
Yeah.
And there's a huge power in interpretation that we create. So what I always ask my clients is, if they don't like something, it's like, what meaning and interpretation that you choose to attach
to that, to the object. Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever we have the subject and the object. The subject really is us, right? And the object, the subjects can, be all different, and the object will be the same, but depending on where the subject stands, the perspective and the meaning will be all different, right? But the object always remains. So like you said, it all depends on the attachment and the meaning we give the object or the event or the situation. So it's challenging, in today's world to really talk about peeling the layers, being vulnerable, opening up, being yourself, when we have been programmed for so long. It's taken generation and generation for this belief to become a part of your bloodline, kind of. And now we are peeling the layers. So I feel we need more messengers, right? More people that spread the word so that they don't have to hit rock bottom to wake up like we did. You don't have to, really.
No, you don't. And what you said earlier, what's required is courage, because that work can be uncomfortable. And actually, when you step into that entrepreneurial journey, what I've realized, that journey will push all your buttons. There's absolutely no hiding from yourself.
Oh God.
Because every little error that you're thinking that you will hide under binge watching Netflix or a glass of wine in the evening, when you step on the entrepreneurial journey, I'm sorry to say, but a glass of wine at night is not going to fix.
Oh, no, it won't. It won't. But I had a glass of gin and tonic last night. I had a long day. I was like, oh gosh. And I just chilled. No, but I get what you're saying. And with the entrepreneurial journey, for me, it's focus. And to focus, you need to know who you are and focus on what's most important and what you have within yourself that you can now be of service to others. In the beginning, yes, I knew who I was. I had already embarked on that journey, but I struggled to really find my art as a coach online specifically. That was another self-discovery on its own, because by that time I was like a warrior, like, I just needed a tribe. So that's another journey. Okay, so the warrior who's now like finding her tribe, but she realizes that it's her tribe that needs to find her, because they're all scattered all around the world, right? So
but let's go back to the energy, what you were talking about earlier. People will find you energetically. They will find you because they will resonate with your message. And by being yourself, you shine the true you. Because if you were trying to be who you are not, or when you haven't quite found yourself yet, and we can just stumble slightly in the dark, your message may be a little bit off because you're still on that path of figuring out who you really are.
That's it. But
once you get there, people will find you because they will resonate with you, with what you've got to offer. And it's all about service. It's all about serving other people and making their life better, because that absolutely light my fire when I work with my clients and I'm able to make their life better. It's just beautiful. It just makes my life meaningful.
Yes, and that's the whole point. I call us light workers, right? We want to light the way for others through a path that we've been through, and holding that torch, we can pass it on to them so that they can hold the torch to someone else, and the ripple effect happens.
Yeah, and would you say that while you were creating or figuring out who you really are, how important would you say is deciding this is who I want to be and working from the point B?
Yeah. So my story, because the truth is I'd buried my story when I became this coach. The past failures, the entrepreneurial world, me being a teacher, even I'd buried that. I'm like, teachers are not very much appreciated. I worked in Poland for many years, and it wasn't something like, so I just buried that. And I'm like, I'm a coach now. Like, I'm a mindset coach, and I'm here to, help people unlock their potential. So for me, it's really demanded that I unearth my I call it the gold dust, but unearth my treasure box, right? I didn't see it as a treasure box. I felt it was something I'm just hiding behind my past. I'm not interested. I'm like this new person. But I realized that, there's a lot of value that I have also from the past. Yeah. And when I realized that I had a passion to inspire, to impact as a teacher, like, Veronika, you have 85 million hours of teaching experience, which you absolutely loved. Yes, you lost your way. You kind of diverted, but, teaching was your first love. That's the fact. I followed my mom's footsteps. When I saw her when I was 16 years old, I remember going into her classroom. She was a nursery teacher back then. I was like, wow, I want to be a teacher too. I just knew it then. So it was my first love. So kind of unearthing that. And then the mindset coaching. So like knowing who I am, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Knowing my values, what I want to do in the world, the impact I want to have. Now, the question is, okay, so how can I serve what I have, that gold dust? How can I use that gold dust? I have a lot of gold dust, but specifically the teaching experience and mindset coaching. So I was focusing and narrowing down to what it was. It's like, gosh, you've been creating courses, lesson planning. Like Poland is very robust when it comes to lesson planning.
Oh, yeah.
They're very particular. And I love that about Poland and how the education there is one of the best, I would say. And I was like, creating courses. And as an ESL teacher as well, I went into companies creating programs for their teams and their departments on how to better their communication in English. So I was like, creating courses, mindset coaching. I'm going to help other coaches create online courses. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Veronika, you can close your eyes and create a lesson plan in 5 minutes if you have to, like, a short one. But yeah. So that's how I started to focus and find my target by starting with me, unearthing that, okay. And then, because there's lots of parts to me. I used to be a dancer, a singer. I used to be this. I did many things, but what really came down to the core value. And then saying, okay, so what can I do with that? So it became clear, we help people create courses. Okay, but who? Because people, I want to create people like me, coaches. We need more coaches. They have a lot of experience, stories, consultants as well. They have a lot of, expertise. So they want to package that and now pass it on. And that's where online courses comes in. So I was like, I know who I am. I know what I have to offer. And now I know who. All the stars aligned, Evelina. All the stars aligned. My messaging became super clear. The insights, the advice, my stories all resonated. And I started, the warrior had found her tribe. Oh.
Perfect. Yes. And it is that courage that you showed up for yourself. Because I think I've been kind of trolled online, if you like, when I was kind of showing up and saying what I know, it's really helpful. And people found it quite offensive when I said that, we are the creators. I was like, well, that's all fine. You're on your journey. I'm on my journey. But it's amazing that when you step up, use your courage, find your voice as true you, and there's always trolls. There's always someone who doesn't like you. You can't be everything for everyone. It doesn't work. And I think that's really important to understand, because fear of judgment is a thing. People certainly do fear that massively, and that stops them. But when you find your voice, love yourself really truly as you are, so that the fear of judgment just kind of goes, because who cares? Because I love myself. I know I'm amazing. You find your values, because if you know what your values are, then making decisions on a daily basis becomes easier.
It does.
Because if you choose between, I don't know, going out for drinks with friends or actually working on your business when you maybe at the early stages, you know where your values are. And values can change as we go and as we grow.
True.
But when you figure out all those elements and put them together, a beautiful thing can happen, like your goal does. But the mindset work is necessary, because yes, the past is important because it's who you are. You know, it molded you to Veronika as you are today. But we need to make a peace with past, deal with it, and leave it where it belongs in the past. But also don't forget it, that the past created us. And that's part of your voice today.
Yes, absolutely. What I speak about, my messaging, my insights, the wisdom that I share is from the insights and the stories that I've experienced and from the learnings that I had to go through myself. So that's how the voice is created. You know, when we talk about find your voice, what does that mean? We say that find your voice. I feel it's more about your voice is being created and it evolves, it mutates. It's like your voice is like your spirit, you know, and it's always evolving and it gets stronger. The more you use it, the more you master, the more powerful it gets. Yeah. So,
yeah. And I think that's what I want to tie this back into self-love, because I think I've seen something that you've posted in the past, you like way back in the past and you kind of a few years later, and the confidence level on the two pictures and the way you were loving yourself was obviously very clear. And I think that is a huge thing, because often when you ask people, it's like, do you love yourself? And they give you a lip service. Sure, I love myself. Like, who wouldn't? But when you start actually digging deeper, there are depths to them where they do not accept themselves, whether that is the way they look, whether that is because of the past. So that's where the mindset work comes in. Whether that is because they are not happy where they are in life or whatever that is behind them. So to what extent would you say accepting yourself, loving yourself is important in order to find yourself, to have that authentic voice?
Accepting ourselves is a continuous journey because there's so much depth to us and so much new findings that you're always continuously exploring. And that's what love is, isn't it? Yeah. It's an everyday, daily act. You find out something new about yourself, which you're not very comfortable with, but then you practice that compassion, that kindness, that understanding, and you embrace it. And if you have, the choice, you improve on it, whatever it is. So love is a daily act, self-love. So if you ask about how, about acceptance, it's an everyday thing, everyday forgiving. If I made a mistake, if I didn't live up to what I said I said I would do, or didn't do what I said I would do, instead of beating ourselves up, having that compassion, that kindness. So it makes life more pleasant as you experience this relationship with yourself. And you always end the day with, what, tomorrow I'm going to be better, or tomorrow is going to be a new day. And today is not going to be defined by who I am tomorrow. With each breath, there's a new chance. Within each breath I take, there's a new possibility and a new way of being. And that's what I'm going to tap into. So it's a continuous lifestyle, really, self-love. Every day I find new parts of myself to love or to accept or to embrace, so it's a daily act. Imagine you're the partner. It's like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
There are things you're irritated about the person. But...
And that's beautiful because, like you said, we have to choose to love ourselves every day. It's an act.
Yes.
We choosing to love ourselves. And we do this by the way we treat ourselves, by the way we talk to ourselves. And as you said, we sometimes... the way we treat ourselves, we wouldn't treat the best of enemies, yet we talk to ourselves like that.
Yeah, it's like, it's just when you take something for granted, that's what happens. He won't care, or she won't. That's what when you don't really respect that person, like, she wouldn't care if I did it or if I didn't do it. So that's how we're treating ourselves. We're taking ourselves for granted.
Yeah, beautiful. What I like to ask myself as well is like, if I'm on the kind of I'm struggling to make a decision, or I'm not quite sure where to take it, I ask myself if, and if kind of takes the edge of it. If I truly and deeply love myself, what would I decide?
Yeah.
What would be the best course of
Yes.
action?
Yeah. There's this exercise. This is called "What Would Love Do?" And it's exactly that. When you are in two minds, what would love do? Then it becomes clearer.
Yeah. And I think that is really important, because we overwork. We put too much on our to-do list. We do so much, and it's easy to do too much because we live in a society that promotes overworking and overdoing and hustling for more. But actually, going back to the energy we talk about, there is beauty and immense power in doing less and being very intentional with where we put our focus on, because we create by thought alone, where we put our attention, our intention, we create our reality.
Yeah.
So when we love ourselves and we shows up as the best version of ourselves with the kindness, we can create absolutely anything that we want. When we hate on ourselves and we hate on other people, we cannot create love or positivity in our lives. Those two energies don't go together.
Yeah. I always say where energy goes, creation flows. So if you're focusing, I like to focus on 20% of things that will give me 80% of the results that I'm looking for. So that way you're working smarter. So essentially, yes, it's all boils down to loving yourself and making sure you have those boundaries set, making sure you're focusing on what's important for you now, so that you can create what's meant for you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. So I think that'll be my last question to you. Looking at new entrepreneurs that maybe haven't done much mindset work, and they hustling and bustling and really working hard at finding the true them as they go, what would be your biggest advice to all the new entrepreneurs, maybe they are in the first year of business and they're not quite sure what's not working, but clearly something isn't working? And from your perspective, your expertise, from your journey, what would you advise to them?
Yeah, they need some unearthing. They need some digging because they've started with the surface. If you want your crops to grow, any farmer knows that they need to till the soil first before they sow the seeds. So if you haven't tilled your soil and you're just sowing seeds on barren land or hard land which hasn't been tilled, your seeds are not going to grow. So you're going to feel frustrated, and with time, like nothing is happening, you're not seeing the results, obviously, because you haven't tilled the soil. Any farmer knows that. So really, it starts with you unearthing what your soil is, your gold dust, and really focusing on what your sweet spot is, because it's from that essence that you can create more beautiful things in your life and more beautiful experiences, more impactful experiences. So what's your sweet spot? I would really start. Some people call it the sweet spot. I call it the golden spot from the gold dust, right? So that would be the starting point. That was my starting point. Starting if I find my gold spot, my golden spot, my sweet spot. And that meant unearthing who I was, what I was good at, meaning my past experiences, my stories, my knowledge, and my passion, and then finding the intersection and saying, this is what I want to do in service of others. And this is what I have, and this is what I can do, and then decide who I want to do it for, and then start doing it for them. So really, it starts by finding your sweet spot. And many people haven't. They just, grab business ideas from anywhere. And maybe some will work. When we set up our business, we grabbed some ideas from anywhere and it worked, but it wasn't sustainable. So you can learn. And I suppose
it worked till it didn't, because the hard work can pay off.
Sure, of course, and you suffer, you sweat blood, and you do all those things, and you lose friendships, and you do.
Yeah, exactly. I've been there too. When you put hard work, yes, can pay off, but I don't think most entrepreneurs go into entrepreneurial journey because they want to work more. They're
Well,
generally
yeah.
going in there because they want to work less.
Yes, and the one that fulfillment, the one that happiness you want, So and some people have managed to do that. Some new entrepreneurs, they really have found that passion and they've really found that sweet spot and they're creating from there, and that's great. But yeah, there are some that are still in the dark.
Yeah, and it's sad because it takes a courage to step out of the comfort zone and do something different, something against the grain. And I love this because I think there's a lot of mixed messages from the society in terms of how we should live and what we should be doing in order to be happy and fulfilled. And unfortunately, that's not a way to go for most people. They lose themselves in there because they do what prescribed by the society. But I think it's not necessarily the way for most of us. It's about who you are really and truly deeply, regardless of, like we said earlier, the domestication, the beliefs, the patterns that you've picked up along the way the family thinks that you should live. It's about, like you said, unearthing of who you really are, doing the work and stepping up for yourself, because it's your life.
It is.
And not trying to, end on a pessimist note, but we've got a limited number of days and it's about living now, not tomorrow. The life doesn't happen yesterday or a week from now. It's right now because we don't know how long we've got.
Yeah.
So love yourself, step up, master that courage, do the work, and life will be sweet.
Yes, things unfold and it unfolds in beautiful ways, right? Things that are happening, opportunities start happening, and doors that you didn't even know existed start opening when you are in alignment with your passion, your values, and your goals are in alignment with those things. Then we can move smoothly.
Yeah, beautiful. So thank you very much. So
thank you so much, Evelina.
And on a high note, thank you very much for being here and talking to me. And I will see everyone else soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you found value in this podcast, I would like to ask you to leave a positive review explaining how this episode helped you to improve your life. I ask you to do this because this will help other people to improve their lives as well. Share and spread the love all around you. Raise your vibrations to improve your life. If you would like more transformational content like this, connect with me on Instagram. You can find a link in the description of this podcast, and I'll see you over in the next episode.